including 3 children, were injured as a result of a Russian strike on Sumy, regional authorities say. The State Emergency Service of Ukraine adds Russia hit residential areas on the outskirts of the city with guided bombs and drones. Private houses and agricultural enterprises were damaged and destroyed in the strike. Ukraine's Air Force reports Russia fired 131 long-range strike drones at Ukraine overnight. 107 intercepted and jammed, while 16 more inflicted damages at 9 locations. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are set to meet at the White House ahead of Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral. I'm Charles Philadelphia.
Early in-person voting beginning in swing state Wisconsin's chaotic Democratic primary for governor. News and analysis at townhall.com. New York City's mayor is brushing aside a plea for him not to attend upcoming 25th anniversary 9/11 ceremonies at Ground Zero in September.
The families of 9/11 victims collecting more than 21,000 signatures so far on the petition website change.org. They're calling for the city's first Muslim mayor, Zohran Mamdani, to stay clear of the ceremony because of his associations with people who have minimized the radical Islamic terrorist attack. The mayor saying he will attend, telling a reporter, "I will proudly honor the families, the survivors, the first responders forever impacted by that horrific terror attack by standing alongside them at this year's 9/11 commemoration."
Correspondent Laura Winters. Senator Lindsey Graham will be eulogized in Washington. His body will arrive today at the U.S. Capitol, where he had served for more than 30 years. Later, a funeral service to be held at Washington National Cathedral. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Tuesday morning, July 28th, 2026. It is time for the Morning Rundown, brought to you every weekday at this time by our very good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's a morning rundown for Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. Number 1, socialists want to destroy America, and they've taken over the Democrat Party. You doubt me? We've got proof. Their vice chairman was on Fox News, and she laid out their agenda. It's pretty awful. Number 2, Donald Trump says blue cities are dirty, rotten, and smelly. Of course they are. Number 3, Zohran Mamdani wants to double down on dirty, rotten, and smelly. And he wants to put price controls on the city-run grocery stores. What could possibly go wrong? Number 4, John Solomon brings the receipts on the FBI Department of Justice Clinton scandal cover-up. Number 5, the Biden tapes have been released, and yes, he was a doddering old man who couldn't remember anything. Number 6, Catherine Heritage has receipts. China influenced CBS to hide the Hunter Biden laptop. Number 7, primary election day coming up in Tennessee, and we'll have here in studio later in this hour Jeremy Thompson, who's running for Congress in the 9th Congressional District. Number 8, we've got more Eric Metaxas. And number 9, the most important part of the morning rundown today. Happy birthday to my youngest daughter, Honor. She is, she's just doing great. Graduated from college, gainfully employed, married, owns a house. The American dream. So there you go. Happy birthday, Honor. All right, that's the morning rundown for Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. You know, I've been telling you about the big O-Site August events at the Glock Store for the last couple of weeks. I told you the O-Site VIP experience, that's a week from this Friday, the 7th, was very limited, would likely sell out. Well, guess what? It has indeed sold out, but that doesn't mean you can't get hands-on with the latest in O-Site optics. Just make plans to attend the free O-Site Day on Saturday, August 8th, at the one and only Glock Store. This free event will have, listen to this, hands-on range time, great O-Site giveaways, exclusive in-store discounts, free O-Site swag, love swag, food trucks, classic Americana with the food trucks, and much, much more. The O-Site Fund starts Saturday, August 8th at 9 a.m. and goes all the way up until 6 p.m. So make sure you save the date. That's O-Site Saturday, August 8th, and only at the Glock store, minutes from the airport, and worth the drive from anywhere. And I mean anywhere. If you're listening to this program anywhere in the United States of America, you can drive right here to Nashville at the Glock store and say hello to the founder and CEO, Lenny McGill, when you get there, and say, you know, I just had to listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and come by and say, hey, hello to you, and see this great, great place for Second Amendment practitioners. All right, so let's go now to the reality of the Democrat Party today. So Shannon Breen, you've probably seen this clip, but I have to play it. I just have to play it because this is how insane the Democrat Party has become. It is, in essence, the Communist Party. And here's this 30-something, overeducated, underintelligent vice chair of the Democrat Socialists of America talking about what their agenda would be for the United States of America. Let's play the clip right now, clip 5.
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's communism. That's the Democrat Party. And we'll talk more about why that came about. If you want to look at it, it's Molly Hemingway was on Fox News talking about this earlier. And it's really the consequence of 50 years of the disastrous education system driven by hardcore leftists and teachers unions. You know, you've seen the crazy Randy Weingarten jumping up and down like a crazy person talking about politics and not educating our kids. Oh, P.S. Reading proficiency down under the teachers unions at 50 years. Math proficiency down. Civic proficiency way down. What could possibly go wrong? Well, this is what you get. Well, Donald Trump was in Michigan last night at a rally, and he had a few words to say about dirty blue cities. This guy doesn't like dirty stuff anywhere. Here we go. Let's listen to Donald Trump.
But I'm just thinking about it. This is maybe going to make news because I've never said it. I'm just thinking about now, when they take something over, it's always dirty. The sidewalks are dirty. The people are, I hate to say this, not clean, okay? The curbs are loaded with you know what? The smell is terrible. I mean, I see it happening to cities. Blue cities are all blue. They're all blue. We don't have problems with the Republican-run cities, I mean, for the most part. But they're dirty. I said to somebody about a certain city, I don't want to say the name of it, but it's run by the radical left. I said, how is it doing? Because I love it. And they said, it's filthy dirty. It's so dirty, they've never seen it like that. It's so filthy dirty. And I just thought of it. Nobody ever says that. You know, I'm sort of a clean freak. I like clean. Do you ever see Washington, D.C.? Do you see Washington? What happened? Washington, D.C., it was filthy. Graffiti all over the place. We fixed up 72 monuments and fountains, and we've done an unbelievable. We took the graffiti off the beautiful marble columns. We have new grass going down. But you know what we did the best? We stopped crime in Washington. It's down.
Okay, so you get it. Now, Donald Trump has been a clean freak his whole life. You know, he tells stories of when he was, I don't know, teenagers. His father, who owned buildings in Queens, New York, would tell him to go out and, you know, clean up the garage. And he would, and he it's very detail-oriented. He's a very detail-oriented guy. You can tell that. You can't be successful in construction unless you are. Now, he's from New York City, and the Muslim Marxist there, Zohran Mamdani, is in the process of destroying New York City. Here, this is his genius idea. Let's put up some government-run grocery stores and cut the prices by 30%. What could possibly go wrong? Here he is, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Zoran Mamdani.
That for many New Yorkers, 30% at the grocery store means something very different. Since 2019, food prices have soared at grocery stores around the country by roughly 30%, in fact. Talk to shoppers around the city, and you'll often hear the same frustration. Wages have not kept up. Making matters even worse, some corporations have built out technology that allows for something called surveillance pricing, collecting personal data to charge some people more than others for the same carton of eggs, for the same gallon of milk. All of this leaves too many New Yorkers feeling like groceries are out of reach. And that is frankly unacceptable, which is why city government is stepping in to make people's lives more affordable.
Oh, my goodness. A city bureau, it's like, let's take the DMV to the grocery store. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Hey, when we come back, this is going to be fun. Jeremy Thompson is running for Congress in the 9th Congressional District, and he is here in studio. When we come back, we'll talk to Jeremy. Back after this.
Ponder this. Have you ever been so hungry that not only is your stomach growling, but you become lightheaded and shaky? Your blood sugar has hit an all-time low. It seems that when this occurs, no amount of food can satisfy this type of hunger. When hunger reaches this level, your normally nice personality may become agitated, impatient, or even angry. You need food and you need it fast. Did you know that our souls need daily nourishment as well? A hungry soul might be inclined to give into temptations and commit sin without a care about its eternal destiny. When we let our souls grow hungry, we must feed them with prayers, recollection, and sacred scripture. Catholics in the state of grace have the additional benefit of access to feeding our souls with a heavenly food. Only in the Catholic Church is Jesus truly present in every worthy reception of Holy Communion. He is the bread of life. His words, "Come and see." I'm Susie Kelly and I am passionately Catholic.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-690-6464. That's 800-690-6464. Again, that's 800-690-6464.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer. 250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world. A government that values individual liberty and justice. A system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our guest here in studio, Jeremy Thompson, who is running for Congress for the Republican nomination in the 9th Congressional District here in Tennessee. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you having me.
So, where are you from?
I'm from Fayetteville, Lincoln County, Tennessee.
So you're born in Fayetteville?
I was.
Did you attend Lincoln County High School?
I did, all the way through 1998.
Graduated in 98?
Yes, sir.
What did you do? What did your family do in Fayetteville?
My mom worked for the telephone company out of Huntsville, Alabama, which is about 30 minutes south of us. And my father was a trucker. He drove for the Lee Company until 1984. He was a 26-year-old man, and he was killed in a trucking accident between Lincoln County, Fayetteville, North Carolina, in summer of 1984. I was 5. My brother was 2.
Do you have any recollection of that?
I do.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was 5, and I can recall he actually drove for 2 different companies: the Lee Jeans Company, which was headquartered there in Fayetteville, and then he drove for local dairy farmers around the county for Meadow Gold and other companies there in the area back in the mid '80s. But I can remember as a 5-year-old kid riding in the trucks with him there on local runs, and then. I can remember being notified and how things unfolded.
Where were you when you were notified?
I was at home with my mother and my brother. And,
was your mother notified at the same time you were?
Yes.
Okay, so describe that situation.
Yeah, as I recall, my mom was in the kitchen working probably on lunch or something like that, and 2 members of the Lee Jeans Company there in Fayetteville walked up on the porch and came through the side door into our kitchen, and I think my mom pretty much knew immediately.
She knew immediately?
I think she did, yeah. I think when she saw them walk through the door, she knew something bad was wrong, and I recall a pretty explicit expression, and she just asked if he was hurt or if he was dead, and they just shook their head and said, he hadn't.
At 5 years old, how did you respond to this?
They took me out. Me and my brother were taken out by. There was a male and a female, and the female that I've known for quite some time. But the female took us outside to the backyard while Mom stayed inside and continued that conversation. I'm sure details
were you in
discussed.
kindergarten then?
No, that was about 3 or 4 days before I started kindergarten there in Lincoln County.
So what happened to the rest of your life as a child and your mother? What happened?
Well, I mean, obviously it wasn't easy. We encountered several challenges, but we got through it. She was a very standardized person. She had very narrow left-right limits. She was a person of discipline, responsibility, and accountability, and she was very successful in what she did.
What did she do?
She was a salesperson for AT&T, Bell South, South Central Bell.
So she was working at this time?
She was working, yes. And very shortly after that incident, her income needed to be increased. So she took an outside lineman position and went through the lineman school in Atlanta, Georgia, as I recall.
Your mother was a lineman?
She was.
But she wasn't a lineman for the county, right?
She was a lineman for Bell South, South Central Bell, AT&T.
Yeah. How long was she a lineman for them?
I want to say the better part of 20 years.
No kidding.
The latter part of her career, yeah.
Did your father have life insurance?
I wouldn't know. I don't know how all that worked out. Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
I think the answer is yes. I think there was.
Did your mother remarry?
She did in 2007. Actually,
not till you were long gone.
Yeah, she pretty much allowed me and my brother to get grown and out of the house and
what
raise
was it
our
like
families.
growing up without a dad in the house?
I had other influential male people that were part of my life that I looked up to and respected very much. But my mom didn't waste any time filling that gap. I can tell you that. She was
tell me about your high school days. What did you play sports?
Actually, I got involved in Tennessee High School Rodeo Association.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I did not know we had the Tennessee High School Rodeo Association.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think I was the first member of that association, Lincoln County High School. And
what does the Tennessee High School Rodeo Association do?
Well, they just promote youth to get involved in rodeo sports, whether it's roping, saddle bronc, bull riding.
What was your
racing.
sport?
I was a bull rider.
You were. Did you wear a helmet?
I did not. No, helmets weren't a thing back then. Yeah, I don't ever recall wearing a helmet.
Would anyone want to be a bull rider?
I don't know. I think you're fascinated by rodeo sports, especially if you grow up on a farm, and I did grow up on a farm. I've always been very attracted to animal care and agriculture. And
did you have a working farm?
Ours is more of a hobby farm.
Yeah.
We have raised animals and hay. Cattle and animal on small scale.
Cattle and hay on small scale. You got on a bull riding rodeo. How old were you?
I was in junior high, so I had to be maybe 16-ish.
What was that like? Where did you do it?
A New Market, Alabama. I think it was E.C. Hunt Rodeo Company in New Market, Alabama.
So, tell us about that day.
I had a couple of friends that were involved in it. And I don't think my mom would have signed for me, so I got them to. And they were a little bit older than I was.
Are you telling me that you had a false signature when you first got on rodeo?
No, not a false signature at all. Just that somebody older than me had to sign for me to ride.
Oh, so it was legal?
It was. I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll let that one pass. Okay, so describe this first time. Where's New Market, Alabama?
It's just barely south of Lincoln County, Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Okay, so was this like a big event, or were we just practicing? Or
yeah, there's several different locations throughout the Southeast that do practice pens on the weekends for aspiring bull riders or rodeoers to go out and practice skills.
So just walk us through the first time you got on a bull for a rodeo practice ride.
Well, I mean, I had practiced and trained on 55-gallon drums and other things leading up to that event, and felt pretty confident about it. I think I did fairly well, actually. I think.
What is doing fairly well when you're riding a bull? What is that?
Well, your goal is to be on for 8 seconds or more before dismount, and I probably
dismount.
Yeah.
Is that what you call getting thrown off a bull?
Yeah, well, if you do it right, that's what it's called. Yeah.
I just got to go with this. Did you see the guy out of Yellowstone who got flipped up in the air by a bison?
Yeah, I did actually see
Did that bring back any memories?
I have been pitched like that. I've been pitched over the fence into a metal water trough. I took a pretty serious knee injury.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so your first time you said did okay, but talk to me about the time you did the impersonation of the old guy at the Yellowstone Park, getting flipped up in the air by a bison. But to you as a bull. Tell about the time you got injured.
One of several short-term goals when you ride bulls is to get out of the arena immediately after your ride. So I was trying to quickly exit the arena, and I got caught up with, and he underhooked me and picked me up and pitched me, and I went over the fence. And
so hold it, you had been on the bull.
Yes, sir.
And how long did you last before you dismounted?
I think that one was an 8-second ride, actually. Yeah, okay. I think I covered that bull.
So you got out, and so you dismounted in a way that, did you land on your feet?
No, I was on my knees, so it took me just a split second to get up and run. Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting up and running.
Mm-hmm.
What happened next?
I was almost to the fence. I was in a reaching motion, and I got caught and pitched, and I don't know what the distance was.
So as you're being, how old were you?
I had to be about 17 or 18.
As you're being pitched through the air,
mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
That I had just been pitched by a bull.
I will say this. In our family history, my great-great-grandfather on a farm in Hemingford, Quebec, at the age of 72, was mortally wounded by a bull.
Okay.
And he didn't die immediately, but it took him like 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a story.
Yeah, it was.
We're going to go from there
okay.
to joining the Air Force, right?
Army.
Joining the Army. All right, back with Jeremy Thompson after this.
Good deal.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Williamson County State Senator Jack Johnson. I'd like to invite you to join me for my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans. It's this Sunday, August 2nd at 4 o'clock, Liberty Hall at the Factory in Franklin. It's going to be a great night of barbecue, fellowship, and celebrating the conservative values that make Tennessee the best place to call home. I'm honored to be joined by an incredible lineup of conservative leaders, including Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, and Senator Brent Taylor. Whether you've attended before or this will be your first time, we'd love to have you join us. Bring your family, invite your friends, and come spend an afternoon with fellow conservatives from across Tennessee. Tickets are $50. Get yours today at johnsonfortennessee.com. That's johnsonfortennessee.com. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans.
Paid for by Johnson for State Senate, Tommy Nelms, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our guest, Jeremy Thompson, a candidate for the Republican nomination for Congress in the 9th Congressional District. He's from Lincoln County, Fayetteville, here in Tennessee. You graduated from Lincoln County High School in what, 1998?
Yes, sir, 98.
Okay. Did you like high school there?
I did.
Doing your rodeo stuff too?
Sure.
Was that like a high school team sport? Or?
There was a couple other guys that got into the association and started getting involved after I did.
But it wasn't like the Lincoln County Rodeo Cowboys?
No, it wasn't that big, no.
Well, we think very highly of Lincoln County High School because in 2018, a junior at Lincoln County High School, a fellow by the name of Cooper Moran, won our National Constitution Bee.
Okay.
And he went on, we gave him a cash prize, and he went on to study at the University of Arizona, graduated from Alabama Law School, and is now a clerk for a federal district court judge in Alabama.
Very good.
So Lincoln County has a fine reputation with us, the high school there.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so you joined the Army.
I did.
What did you do in the Army for 20 years?
So I enlisted actually in the Alabama Army National Guard down in Huntsville, where the 1st Battalion 20th Special Forces Group was headquartered. And I took a position as an all-source intelligence analyst, and I was in the Army Intelligence Training Center in 2001 when the World Trade Centers were attacked.
So was that a full-time gig?
It was for me. So generally speaking, you would do 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year in the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
All of my initial entry training is on Title 10, which is standard. I went through basic airborne and AIT, advanced individual training. And then we mobilized as a unit on Title 10, which is active duty, to deploy to Afghanistan in response to September 11th, 2001.
So you went to you served in Afghanistan?
I did, yes, sir.
What did you do in Afghanistan?
Well, I was an all-source intelligence analyst, so technically I would have been serving in the Battalion S2 for the duration of that deployment, but I got an early opportunity to be pulled from the S2 and attached to a Green Beret A team for ground combat operations in north central Afghanistan.
So how do you get attached to a Green Beret team?
Well, so the battalion commander came in and asked who had horse experience.
You're kidding me?
No, I'm not.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well,
it
your
was
rodeo.
Well, it was one of a couple of criteria. I was very ambitious. I was very serious about the job that we were doing, and I think that had been recognized by the ODA ground commander, and he had asked or requested that I be attached for a particular
You're
mission.
telling me that doing rodeo in high school prepared you for special ops and Green Beret in Afghanistan?
I think growing up in the agricultural community of Lincoln County, Fayetteville, and dealing with animals had some impact on that. Yes, sir.
No kidding. Well, how long did you serve in Afghanistan?
We were the orders were for a year. I think we were there for right at 10 months before we started doing our redeploying, or what they call RIPing, RIP, relief in place.
What's your overview of your experience there?
The overview of my experience in Afghanistan, it was pretty wild. We had a lot going on, obviously, in early '02. Rules of engagement were incredibly different than they were later. I was there under a George Bush administration. I know people that went under an Obama administration.
Are you telling me that the rules of engagement under Obama were more constricted?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so after Afghanistan, you came back?
Came back, had a decompression period. I was working for the local ambulance service prior to leaving, so I had always had this ambition to be a Tennessee State Trooper. So I thought I would do what they call M-Day service with the National Guard, the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. So I applied to be a Tennessee State Trooper in 2004 after that deployment, after coming off Title 10 orders. And the National Guard reached out and wanted to know if I wanted to come on Title 32 active duty. And I said, I don't know, let me weigh being a state trooper and being active duty Title 32. And we chose active duty Title 32 for the next 20 years.
And so you retired, and during your period of service,
yes, sir.
You got a bachelor's degree, is that right?
I did, yeah.
Was that University of Maryland Global, or what?
That was the Faulkner University, headquartered in Montgomery, Alabama. They had a satellite office in Huntsville. And I think I went at night from 6 to 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I can relate, because I'm going to night law school.
Yes, sir.
Here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Mondays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 10.
Yes, sir.
You know what? When you're a young man, that 10 o'clock is still tiring.
Absolutely.
When you're older, it's a lot tiring.
When you have a family to take care of and young kids and all the factors, yes, sir.
So when did you leave the service?
July of 22.
Now you have a gig as the executive director of the Special Operations Association of America.
Yes, sir.
What is that? What does that group do?
So we do veteran advocacy for the Special Operations arena, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So your Army Rangers, Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Raiders, all your Special Operations components get an additional level of advocacy in the House and the Senate in D.C. for
So do you lobby? What
policy.
does the executive director of this group do? And how much money do these guys have?
Well, it's a nonprofit, so it's supported by private donations, and we frame initiatives that take care of special operations veterans and all of our service components. So one of the biggest things that we're most proud of right now is the research, study, and implementation of advanced medicine for PTSD and operator syndrome.
If I got a Form 990 from the IRS and looked at what the revenues are for this group, what's the annual revenues for it?
I would say between 1 and 2 million.
So you're small.
Small, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you, as executive director, do you go like and lobby members of Congress, or what do you spend your time doing? Raising money?
I would say we advocate members of Congress.
Lobby.
Lobbyism is a little different because there's money attached.
501c3.
Yeah,
you're a 501c3, right?
We are a 501c19, which is a military advocacy organization.
I've learned something.
Yeah.
I did not know there were 501c19s.
Yes,
is
sir.
it like a 501c3 or 501c4?
A certain percentage of our membership has to be combat veteran oriented.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I learned something new. Okay. So you're doing that gig, make a little bit of money there. Then you decide to open up a restaurant in Fayetteville.
Yes, sir.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, because we believed in Donald Trump's initiative to reduce the government footprint, and at the time, me and my wife both worked for the United States government. She was a GS employee, and I was a contractor on Redstone Arsenal with Army Material Command Headquarters. And we both said that if we were going to be honorable to the conservative vision to reduce the government footprint, that we needed to honor and not be hypocrites to the process of getting people off the government payroll. So we both endeavored this entrepreneurial spirit of opening a restaurant where we were told we would probably fail because 90% of startup restaurants fail in the first year. And I'm glad to report to you that we must be in the top 10% because it's doing well.
So the Revolutionary Tavern, downtown Fayetteville.
Yes, sir.
It's what, steak and
what do you have? Steak, chicken, fish. It's modern American food with a historical twist.
But you opened it when?
September of 2025.
When did you decide to run for Congress?
Well, so we had loosely entertained it over time based on an experience that I had back in 2016 at the Defense Intelligence Agency. And when we had kind of focused on the 4th Congressional District because that's where Lincoln County fell for a very long time.
The old 4th District.
Right. And we thought that might be a 2028 opportunity. We didn't know what those dynamics were going to look like, but certainly when the Tennessee State Legislature redrew the district and we were no longer in the 4th, there was no Republican incumbent, we said maybe this is a vision and an opportunity to go serve people at a higher level and make a difference in this country.
Is it wise to open a restaurant and then, 9 months later decide to run for Congress?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have a phenomenal staff. We hired the top 25 to 30 that applied out of about 60 or 70, and they run it phenomenally, and we are very proud of them for what they're doing. But my wife is a very key component of running that restaurant, and we see this opportunity to serve the nation at a higher level and make a difference in this country. What we see is politics as usual. Coattail politicians that don't have what it takes to stand up against what we are facing as a nation. And if they don't start doing it immediately, we're going to lose it entirely. You talked about it a little bit earlier.
I'm not really buying the idea that it's wise to open a restaurant and then run for Congress. It just seems like, so many restaurants fail.
Yeah. It's a risk you take for the pursuit of a higher calling.
Okay. On any given night, how many folks are down to your restaurant?
We stay pretty packed on Fridays and Saturdays. There's usually an hour wait on those nights. Sometimes during the week it's a little heavier than others, but we're doing well.
When did you decide to pull the trigger specifically and announce you're going to run for Congress?
The same morning.
Which day was that now?
That was on that Thursday when the Tennessee.
Which month?
I'm sorry, that would have been in April.
April.
Yes, late April. So
when we come back, we're going to give you a hard time about an issue.
Okay.
You ready?
Fair enough.
Can you handle it?
I hope.
All right. Here we go. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com. Code Godzilla for 20% off.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Our guest in studio, Jeremy Thompson, running for a Republican nomination in the Tennessee's 9th Congressional District. So this is the first time we've met.
Yes, sir.
We've published one story about you.
Okay.
Well, a summary story about the district, but you said something at an event that we thought was a little bit odd. I'll read the headline and the first paragraph, and then get your response. Headline, this is from June 25th by Tom Pappert. Republican Tennessee 9 candidate Jeremy Thompson calls for streamlined, quote, multi-year visas for lawful foreign workers. In the first paragraph, Jeremy Thompson, the veteran and Fayetteville business owner who is seeking the Republican Party nomination to represent Tennessee's newly redrawn 9th Congressional District, last Thursday called for Congress to implement an online system for some temporary foreign workers to obtain, quote, multi-year visas that would streamline the application process using the internet. Did we get that right? Did you say that?
Yes, sir.
Do you still stand with that position?
Yes, sir. The people who work in agriculture across this state and this country have to have support to work their farms, and they're looking for a more streamlined way to exercise lawful people working in this country. I think that's the key, is that it's a lawful process that is expanded a little bit to make it a little bit more conducive for the farmer.
Temporary foreign workers to obtain multi-year visas. Most people who are America First don't want to expand any foreign visas. Don't you think that's a mistake on your part?
No, I don't think so at all. I think when you're a farmer and you're trying to run farm and agriculture across the state and across this country, and I've talked to many of them, they have actually asked for this explicitly, and they want a more streamlined process. They want more adjudicators, and they want it to be a little bit more supportive of farm and agriculture across the state of Tennessee.
So you're standing by that position, even though I think many America First people would disagree with it.
No, I don't think so. I think America First people want people who are illegal in this country. Joe Biden administration allowed over 10 million people to enter this country unvetted and illegally, and that's the problem that we have on our hands. And I don't know that we're tackling that aggressively enough. And I can appreciate you putting me on the point for this, because I'm running for a national office and I need to be accountable to the positions that I take. But I'm a very principled individual, and I appreciate you bringing this to my attention.
Yeah, I think this
and giving me the opportunity to respond.
I think temporary foreign workers with multi-year visas is a huge security mistake. That's my view on it.
No, when you say multi-year, you could be talking about 2 years. You could be talking about 3 years. But every 9 months to go through a multi-month process that costs the farmer and the worker up to $10,000 in multiple lawyer fees and multiple adjudicator processes is just a messed up system that needs some attention and some reform. That's all we're asking for here, and I think that's what the farmers are asking for, and I think that's why they brought it up in that particular forum. That was a Farm Bureau forum, and they wanted to know what somebody was going to do to help fix what's broken.
But some of these temporary foreign workers with multi-year visas are committing crimes, are they not?
I think we hold crime accountable in this country fairly easily, and then we have to keep holding crime accountable. But we can't start differentiating and splitting hairs on illegal immigration and lawful immigration. There are good people who come to this country for a better life and a better opportunity.
So you're in favor of more immigration then?
I am in favor of lawful immigration
in
this country.
How about H-1B visas and
I think we should terminate H-1Bs immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we should terminate those immediately. I think those are taking away technological jobs from American workers. And as you call me out, and I appreciate that, as I've said, I hope you'll call out my opponent, Brent Taylor. 2 stories recently broke on Politico and one of the Tennessee news networks that he has invested in Chinese military companies. Multiples.
Well, he's not here. You're here.
Yeah,
and I have another
multiple
question
Chinese
for you.
military companies, and I wonder if Trump would have endorsed him if he knew he was personally invested in Chinese military companies.
Well, let's get to you.
Well,
let's get to you.
This is important.
We got 3 minutes. I want to get to you.
3 minutes, and that's why it's important.
I want to get to you.
The Tennessee voter.
I want to get to you.
The Tennessee voter wants to know.
I want to ask you a question.
The Tennessee voters want to know.
Stop talking and listen to me.
The Tennessee voters want to know what they're voting for.
I want you to answer this question.
Yes, sir.
We got 3 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Do you favor limitations on immigration
Absolutely.
in the United States?
Sure.
But you want temporary foreign workers to be here?
I think that's what it's going to take to keep farms in forward motion. Absolutely.
Okay.
Tell us about
your campaign.
Well, the campaign's going well, actually. I think we're in forward motion. We've got a lot of support and momentum across the district, and we're excited about it. People see a person that is a non-politician who is a soldier for this country, somebody who loves this country enough to die for it, to step up and protect it.
Jeremy, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll be back with Tom Pappert after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Bon Air, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJF.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. There were noisy demonstrations in D.C. ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to the White House today. He and President Trump discussing where things stand with Iran. The president insists that Tehran is still anxious to cut a deal with the U.S.
And people said, please don't shoot last night, the night before, 2 nights. Don't do it. You know, we're having good talks. So we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance that something can happen. And if it does, good. If it doesn't, we go back to doing what we were doing 2 days ago.
The president also meeting today with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Then Mr. Trump will attend the late Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral at Washington National Cathedral. There's a vote planned today on a permanent director of national intelligence.
The Senate is expected to confirm Jay Clayton later today to become head of the nation's intelligence agencies. Clayton is expected to be confirmed along party lines after a contentious hearing 2 weeks ago in which he repeatedly refused to say that former President Joe Biden won the 2020 election, instead saying
Joe Biden was certified as the president of the United States.
Still, Democrats say they have more confidence in Clayton than they do in Trump's temporary pick for the job, Bill Pulte, who has no known intelligence experience and investigated the president's perceived enemies in his previous post as a federal housing regulator. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Americans' confidence in the economy, as measured by the Conference Board, is down this month as gas prices rose again. The board's Consumer Confidence Index fell to 90.8 this month, from a reading of 92.2 in June. Seems that much of the American consumer's outlook rises and falls with the price at the gas pump. And on Wall Street, the Dow trading 386 points higher, the Nasdaq down 166. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Is the bloom off the rose for artificial intelligence? Well, there's been a big sell-off of AI-related stocks in South Korea.
Today's sell-off in Asia's chip stocks comes as investors begin to question how much is being spent on the AI boom, as well as worries over rising competition from China's chip industry. Shares in NVIDIA sank 5% on Wall Street on Monday on reports that the chip maker could provide a financial backstop worth $250 billion to help build open AI data centers. That's raising concerns about the extent to which the American chip maker may be financing its own customers.
The BBC's Maura Fogarty. Meeting at a British naval base, Ukrainian President Zelensky and the new UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham have discussed joint drone projects, as well as Ukraine's urgent need for ballistic missile interceptors. Burnham says yesterday's talks intended to underline unwavering British support for Ukraine. Townhall.com. It is a judicial victory for the Trump administration.
A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit challenging the legitimacy of President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. The lawsuit filed by an interfaith group argued that the commission's overwhelmingly conservative Christian makeup lacked a legally required balance of viewpoints. On Monday, U.S. District Judge John P. Cronin ruled that while federal law requires advisory commissions to have a balance of viewpoints, it doesn't specify how this should be done. The lawsuit sought a more ideologically and religiously diverse commission. However, Cronin said the commission is diverse in other ways. Keith Peters, Washington.
Trump administration preparing to supercharge programs aimed at countering China's growing influence worldwide, bolstering the budgets of those programs by hundreds of millions of dollars, includes replacing outdated, aging undersea telecommunications cables in the Caribbean and Central America. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined on our Newsmaker line by the Dow Prize winner for the best local journalism in the country, the one, the only Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
We still are not hearing anything from the John Rose campaign. Well, we did hear something, but it wasn't an answer to any of our questions. Just kind of summarize what we covered briefly yesterday about the Rose campaign response to our questions about their donations to Democrats, state legislators, who were centrally involved in supporting, attempting to push through a state income tax in Tennessee, particularly in the 1998 to 2002 timeframe. Their response to that was, did they deny the reports? Did they say the reports were inaccurate? Or did they totally try and dodge the question?
Michael, John Rose's campaign did not even say, well, we may have donated to these pro-income tax Democrats, but we didn't support an income tax. The candidate did not and does not know. They did not even do that. Instead, they characterized our factual reporting as a political attack and have not responded to us since then, even after we asked how John Rose actually voted in the February 2004 presidential preference primary, where he requested a Democratic ballot. So we want to know, did he vote for John Edwards, John Kerry, or perhaps the screaming Howard Dean, who came in fourth place that year? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, it seems kind of curious. I mean, George Bush was running for re-election, and he chose not to vote for George Bush in the Republican primary. I mean, I think it doesn't make any sense to me why a purported conservative would have voted in a 2004 Democrat presidential primary. Is there any possible explanation? I guess we're just kind of guessing why he chose to vote in a Democrat presidential primary in 2004. What are the possible reasons?
Well, if you, of course, look at the context of what was happening at the time, Bush won re-election. He won the national popular vote. He carried, I think it was 31 states. But there was some growing discontent, I suppose, over the wars that had already been started. But if you look into John Rose's track record, this was actually a time where I would argue he was sort of experimenting with voting Democrat and donating to Democrats. He basically ended this after 2010, but he continued this until 2010. So another 6 years later, as former President Barack Obama was being elected in a commanding fashion, only to have the Tea Party form less than a year later over widespread discontent with his policies. Well, John Rose was still donating to Democrats. He donated to 2 Democrats in the U.S. Congress representing Tennessee. So if I had to hazard a guess, it seems as though, despite being, around my age, I would never vote Democrat today. John Rose was sort of determining whether he was a Republican or a Democratic voter.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that's the case. And then also, I mean, the way it works in Tennessee, you have a very specific presidential primary. And it's not for any other office except the presidential primary. And this was what, February of 2004? Is that when it was? I think it was.
February 10th, 2004.
And so there was a Republican primary. And I think George W. Bush had some challengers in it. I don't remember who it was. Then Rose could have stepped in and said, I want to vote for George W. Bush or his challenger as a Republican. But he actively decided, I would rather vote for either John Kerry, John Edwards, or Howard Dean in the Democrat presidential primary. That it is inexplicable to me.
Now, in fairness, he could have also voted for Wesley Clark, the Democrat who came in 3rd place. And there were even like a 4th, 5th, 6th place. Al Sharpton was running that year, believe it or not. He got like almost 2% of the vote in Tennessee from Democrats, which is wild to me. You also had Joe Lieberman on the ballot, Dennis Kucinich. Basically, this is like a who's who of the Democratic Party in the early 2000s. And we don't know which. We still don't, because he won't tell us. But for some reason, John Rose thought one of those men had earned his vote.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because in the general election for president, George W. Bush won Tennessee in November 2004 with 56.8% of the vote. But again, he raises a question. Who did John Rose vote for president in 2004? We don't know. Right? You asked him. I guess your votes are private, but he could say, "Well, I did or didn't." But they are clamming up.
Well, of course, votes are private, but this is a public figure, the guy who's running for office, who's asking Tennesseans to trust him with their vote. So I think it would be worth knowing. Maybe he was doing a proto-Rush Limbaugh to invade the Democrats' primary, and maybe he voted for Howard Dean because he thought the scream was really, really funny, and then he turned around in November and voted for Bush. But we don't know that because John Rose isn't talking to us. And in fact, he wouldn't really, in the one statement we got yesterday before we sent this second inquiry, his campaign staff didn't really respond to our questions. They characterized it as a political attack and ignored us ever since. So I think that he's leaving a lot up to the imaginations of Tennesseans. And there's no good explanation that I can think of why somebody who was voting Democrat in 2004, donating to Democrats in 2010, wouldn't have a good answer for this 16 years later.
So this is my criticism of John Rose. It's a pattern of behavior. In other words, John doesn't really respond to questions that he doesn't want to answer. And it's been his pattern, on the campaign trail running for Congress and serving in Congress. He will send out communication, but you really can't have a back and forth dialogue with John Rose. He just doesn't listen, and he doesn't want to respond. This is, I think, one of the main reasons why, as governor, he would be probably less communicative with the Tennessee Star and other news outlets than even Governor Bill Haslam was, or at the beginning of his administration, Governor Bill Lee. And that lack of communications, I think, is not a good sign for what kind of governor he might be if he were to win the primary. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, that's exactly right, Michael. I mean, Governor Bill Lee, he may not be the most communicative governor in history, but the liberal media should think about this, as they seem to be in the bag for a certain candidate, that Bill Lee will talk to them. He'll even talk to like the zany guy at the Tennessee Lookout and give him like lengthy interviews sometimes. He'll turn around and say, all right, let's see what you got in you, and give him 10 minutes. I'm not sure we would see the same from John Rose. And I'm not sure that we would see any interest in attempting to create the same dynamics from John Rose, because we are a conservative outlet and he can't explain his votes that he made for Democrats. So if he can't talk to us, what are the odds that if elected, he would talk to anyone else in the media?
Yeah, and you see right now, I mean, News Channel 5 is like, making up all sorts of stuff to attack Senator Marsha Blackburn. And John Rose is pushing all that out, but Phil Williams is, awful biased left-wing quote journalist who just makes up stuff and attacks people on silly things, but that's being pushed out by John Rose. I can promise you, if any Republican, they would get the same treatment from News Channel 5. Tom Pappert, excellent reporting as always. And if we ever hear anything from the John Rose campaign ever again, please let us know.
I'll be back to report it immediately, Michael. Always a pleasure.
All right. Tom Pappert, thanks. Hey, when we come back, more of our interview with Eric Metaxas, exclusive. It was terrific. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our phone number is 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848. We're going to play another clip of our exclusive interview with the great author Eric Metaxas. His new book, Revolution, The Birth of the Greatest Nation in the History of the World, came out June 2nd, published by Skyhorse Publishing, and is on the New York Times bestseller list. It is a spectacularly good book. He writes in a comprehensive narrative the entire story of the American Revolution, and it focuses on really the motivations of the Founding Fathers, which were driven by faith and virtue. We'll get to that here in a little bit. I'm going to play this clip. If you want to weigh in, I'd love to hear from you. It's 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. We need to know your name and the state in which you reside. And if you want to call in, I want to get your reaction to the interview we had with Eric Metaxas. Also, a little programming note just to everybody's reminded of this. Our program, which is 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, 9 a.m. to 11 Central Time. It's been that way for several years now here on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We are moving to the 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, August 17th. That's 2 weeks from this coming Monday. Wendy Bell will be here in the 10 to noon slot following Eastern Time, following John Fredericks. Okay, let's go with this. Let's also remind everybody, you can watch us on X. Just go to Michael P. Leahy, or on YouTube, Rumble, Roku TV, Apple TV, Firestick TV, everywhere. We are there. Let's go here. This is our interview. We conducted it Friday afternoon at Landmark Booksellers in downtown Franklin, Tennessee. Here's our interview with Eric Metaxas.
Our guest, the great author, Eric Metaxas. Eric, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for describing me as a great author. We should end there. That's like, I want to end on a high note. Thank you very much.
Well, you are. You're prolific. You've written so many books. Your latest, Revolution, the birth of the greatest nation on earth.
In the history of the world.
Thank you. A new accounting by Eric Metaxas. Now, this is interesting. You call it a new accounting.
Yeah.
577 pages.
Yes. How
long did it take you to write this?
Every time I'm asked these questions, I'm embarrassed because the way I do things is not the way I would recommend that they be done. I write very intensely, and so I get it done much more quickly than you would think. But it's like I'm working on it night and day like a lunatic. So it was around between 18 months and 24 months. I don't know exactly, because at some point the research I'm writing and researching and whatever, but it's very intense, and I don't know if that's because it's the only way I can do it, but I mean, ultimately I only care about the final product, but the process it's a strange process.
When did you decide you wanted to write this book?
It's a little bit over 2 years ago. I mean, I was a friend of mine had read my book, 7 Men. The first chapter is about George Washington, and he said he was so moved by my telling of the story of George Washington. He said, Eric, you should write the whole story of the whole revolution. And usually when people suggest book ideas, I just, sneer at them. I think, no, I don't have time to write a book on that. But this, when he said he should write the book, I thought, we have the 250th coming up. I call it the Super Centennial of America.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, and I thought about in a sense, the ambition, the scope of what it would take to tell that whole story. It's an epic narrative. It's not a slice. And that was really my thinking, is that I want to tell the whole story, the whole thing, the revolution. And then you think, okay, is there a book like that out there? And I thought there isn't really. There's zillions of books on the revolution, many wonderful books, but there isn't one book, certainly not recently, that tells the whole story. How did this nation come into being 250 years ago? And then you have to think, what is even the scope of that? You just start at Lexington and Concord and tell the story of the war. Is that the revolution? But John Adams said there was a revolution before the revolution. And really, you have to tell, what happens in the 1760s. The book starts with James Otis Jr. There's this moment that John Adams is referring to. He goes, then and there the child independence was born. It was in this courtroom in 1761 in Boston. But it really starts, of course, after the French and Indian War is over, when the British decide in 1764, hey, we got to tax the colonists. And that's what sets up the conflict. And so that, in some ways, is my favorite part of the book, is because it sets up what leads to suddenly the shot heard around the world in April 19th, 1775. So, but just wanting to tell the story, the whole story, and then crazily deciding, okay, I'm going to do this. But leaping into that, I suddenly you do the math in your head and you think, well, if I want this to come out in the summer of 26, I better get going. So it was kind of like the gun went off, and I did not look back or, do anything.
When you're in those crazy moments of focus,
yeah,
how much fun are you to be around?
Well, you'd have to ask my poor wife. I went through 3 wives on this book. It's terrible. No, it's my wife. I should ask her, because I think that it's just, again, it's a level of intensity where you just think, I I don't have any. It's like you're being chased by a lion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to chit chat unless you want to get eaten. So you just keep going. You keep sprinting, and you hope that the lion doesn't catch you, and that you don't have a heart attack while you're sprinting, and that eventually you escape the lion. It's really like it's a crazy process, especially with something of this scope.
So it's interesting because you've chosen to write this largely in a narrative.
Yes.
As opposed to, let's say, a turgid history.
Well, you don't ever want to write a turgid anything, but I just thought. I mean, my goal was to tell the story of the American Revolution, because my thesis in writing it is every single American needs to know this stuff. This is not extra credit. This is not for history buffs. This is for Americans. If you're an American, it's on the test. You need to know this. I only put in what I think we need to know. The book could be 1,200 pages. It's only 600 pages. And I think that I hope it reads well. That's the greatest thing, is that so many people have said it reads like a novel. I couldn't put it down. I mean, that's, as an author, the greatest thing you could hear. But that was my whole goal, is just to tell the stories of the larger story, and to put in all the names and all the people. And, it almost is like, if you're going to have a test on the American Revolution, what do I need to know? All this stuff. This is... and I also say that, around 1960, if you put a microphone in the face of anybody in Main Street America, they all knew this stuff. We all knew this, but somehow it's gone out of the culture. That's very bad.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah, that is very bad. And the stories here are spectacular. I highly recommend the book, Revolution, the Birth of the Greatest Nation in the History of the World. Learn about the tragedy of Benedict Arnold, the buffoonery of gentleman Johnny Burgoyne, and some guys on our side who weren't so great either. Back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Folks, this is Crime Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to TakeLean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at TakeLean.com.
The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Marsha Blackburn is an incredible person.
She's a fighter, a true fighter. For the people of Tennessee, she loves your state.
Trump trusted Tennessee first. Marsha Blackburn will deport illegal immigrants from Tennessee in record numbers and ban China from buying up 1 inch of Tennessee land.
Marcia Blackburn, a very, very early supporter of ours, a really wonderful woman.
A rock-solid conservative who will fight the woke agenda, deliver results, and never, ever back down.
They're lucky to get you because you are a talent and a great person, and you've been with me all the way, and I appreciate it.
Tennessee's one and only Marcia Blackburn for governor.
She's a fighter, a true fighter. For the people of Tennessee, she loves your state.
Paid for and authorized by Marcia for Governor, Treasurer Glenn Jacobs.
250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world. A government that values individual liberty and justice. A system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Williamson County State Senator Jack Johnson. I'd like to invite you to join me for my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans. It's this Sunday, August 2nd at 4 o'clock, Liberty Hall at the Factory in Franklin. It's going to be a great night of barbecue, fellowship, and celebrating the conservative values that make Tennessee the best place to call home. I'm honored to be joined by an incredible lineup of conservative leaders, including Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marcia Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, and Senator Brent Taylor. Whether you've attended before or this will be your first time, we'd love to have you join us. Bring your family, invite your friends, and come spend an afternoon with fellow conservatives from across Tennessee. Tickets are $50. Get yours today at johnsonfortennessee.com. That's johnsonfortennessee.com. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans.
Paid for by Johnson for State Senate Tommy Nelms, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our phone number, if you want to call in, 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. Tell us, number one, your name, number two, the state of your residence, and number three, your topic. The topic for this segment, I'm going to basically expand upon a chapter in my favorite book ever, Alexis de Tocqueville's Democracy in America. And as you know, Alexis de Tocqueville was a minor French nobleman who came over here to the United States in the 1830s when Tennessee and Andrew Jackson was president, and traveled all around the United States. It was ostensibly to write a report on prison reform, and he gave a report on that to the French legislature at that time. But what he really wanted to do was learn about America, and that's what Democracy in America was. He spent some time in all of the major cities. He spent some time in Tennessee. In fact, he was not particularly impressed with Tennessee or Tennesseans, I'm sorry to say. He spent a winter, a couple weeks with a very, very bad cold in little place called, I think it's called Sandy Hook, Tennessee, which is about 70 miles, a little town, 70 miles due west of Nashville. It's cold winter, and it was a cabin that was not well insulated. And one of the things he said, though, about America at that time, he was very disappointed with one aspect of America. He'd written all about the Founding Fathers. Of course, the other Frenchman, Marquis de Lafayette, had been a key player in the Revolution. And the Founding Fathers, were great, great thinkers. But when he came over here, he discovered that the elected local officials were not exactly the brightest bulbs in the world. That's what they were very ordinary, he thought, very mediocre. And so that was a bit of a disappointment. Before we get into more on my theme on this, which we're going to illustrate the mediocrity of a number of elected officials in Ohio, former President, asterisk, Joe Biden, and the mayor of Seattle. Leonard from Georgia wants to weigh in this morning. Hello, Leonard. What's on your mind?
Morning, Michael. I have a question. The armed conflict between the Brits and the colonials, it all started basically when they put the taxes in and they tried to disarm the colonials, correct? The conflict was about 8 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I think that's a good synopsis of it, Leonard.
Yeah, because I need to read that book. I need to,
Yeah, the book, by the way, you're talking about, I highly recommend it. It's easy to read. It's a great, it reads like a novel. It's a Revolution, the Birth of the Greatest Nation in the History of the World by Eric Metaxas. But your question for us, Leonard.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, when the government tries to disarm the population, it always goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
And it started way back then in I'm not sure what year, 1774, 1773, in that period of time, I think.
Yeah, well, read the book because he really says it almost began, Leonard, with the Puritans who came over in 1630s for religious liberty because they thought their rights came from God and not from a divine king, and it's just exacerbated over the years. So, but read the book, Revolution, by Eric Metaxas. Right. Leonard, thank you so much for the call. Continuing on the theme of American history, so the great intellectual founding fathers with great faith and virtue that established this country after the Constitution was ratified, and in the 1830s when Andrew Jackson was president, Alexis de Tocqueville came over and observed our elected officials were very mediocre. Yeah, and he was disappointed. Well, I'm very disappointed in the mediocre elected officials, and by the way, the mediocre media. Nothing illustrates that more than the rhino governor, outgoing governor, lame duck governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, who's decided he's all in favor of extending temporary protected status for Haitians. Here he is being interviewed by, well, how can we say this? A duplicitous left-wing media propagandist, Jake Tapper of CNN. Let's play this clip right now.
Late June, you wrote that more than 10,000 Haitians who've been living in Ohio may be subject to immediate deportation. What has happened with that community since?
Well, most of them have continued to work. I think some of them, have left. We don't really know how many, but there's certainly a lot of them there that are still working. Of course, as you know, what happens when TPS actually goes into effect, which looks like it'll be tomorrow, they can't work anymore, and they won't have any way to make a living. It'll be illegal for companies to employ them. So it's going to be a big blow to the community. These are people who came here to work. They came here to fill jobs that were not being filled. The city of Springfield.
I just got to stop this. What a bunch of lies. They didn't come here to work. They come here to get welfare. And the Supreme Court made very clear the statute, the temporary protected status, was temporary and could be removed by the president at any time. At any time. Let's continue with the he's done. He's done whining. Okay, let's go on to the next whiner. Back to the current mediocrity of elected officials. We'll go back to the Biden administration. Remember those tapes that his people didn't want release of the interview that the special prosecutor was looking at and decided not to prosecute him because he was an old, doddering man? Well, here's one of those tapes. Finally got released after a bunch of back and forth on legal issues. Let's listen to, well, the man who was then president, the old, doddering Joe Biden. This is what was going on in that interview.
And they're part of it, the millennials. That's what they. Anyway, that was the constant fight with me. Klain was on my side when he was there, and my whole team was all. I had the team that said, including the two guys who I think were with me, were oh God, the guy at Princeton now, the economist, good guy, was our chief economic advisor, not Kaufman, think of his name, and the guy back out at the University of Chicago with a funny name, I'll think of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, early stages of mental decline there. Now, some of us forget stuff, but that guy, that mediocrity, was served as president of the United States. He was, as I've said often, legal but not legitimate. Well, the legal mayor of Seattle is a socialist by the name of Wilson, and she's a complete incompetent. Look at the mediocre incompetence of her as she was dealing with the shooting. There was a shooting outside the Space Needle, and I guess a couple people were killed. And look at how she handled or mishandled the press conference thereafter.
What happened here today at the Seattle Center was an unbelievable tragedy, and a horrific act of violence. My heart right now is with the victims and their families and with everyone in our community who is reeling from what happened here today. We have far too much gun violence in this city and in this country, and we're coming off of a week in Seattle where we've had 3 major incidents of gun violence in just a few days. We have a lot of work to do as a city and as a country to make this better.
I get your passion, Mayor, but we need to know what happened tonight, please.
Yes, so our focus right now is with this investigation, with learning what happened so that we can provide accurate information to the public, with supporting the victims. And I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Chief Tyrone Davis to tell you what we know.
What happened tonight? Hubba, hubba, hubba. What happened was gun violence, a problem of the city and the nation. Here is more of the mumbling, stumbling, bumbling mayor of Seattle.
Have you all been able to interview the 15-year-old suspect? Has that suspect been cooperative?
It's an active investigation. I can't give that information right
now. I was wondering if you could say a little bit about what this means for the city of Seattle, kind of coming off the high of the World Cup and the Summer of Timothy and a lot of lighthearted, good feelings about Seattle, and to now have this very terrible tragedy that is making international headlines. What does this mean for you, and kind of for this moment in Seattle?
I mean, I think this is weighing on us all right now, certainly weighing on me. I also just want to recognize that we've had a number of tragic incidents of gun violence this year, and all of them take very, very seriously. So I think, everyone deserves to feel safe.
We've had incidents of gun violence. We take them very seriously. How about clearing out the homeless? How about arresting criminals and keeping them in jail? How about deporting criminal illegal aliens? A little bit of common sense. When we come back, more common sense, this time bringing the receipts, John Solomon, about the FBI and Department of Justice covering up the investigation into corruption at the Clinton Foundation and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Back after this.
Ponder this. I was a crew member of a sailboat racing team. I should tell you that I never really developed sea legs, so my contributions to the team left a little to be desired. As I recall, on one racing day, the captain put me at the helm. He must have been desperate. During the race, a strong gust of wind came up suddenly. The boat heeled dramatically. I panicked and let go of the helm for fear of being tossed overboard and lost at sea forever. Thank the Lord for the keel, a heavy fin at the bottom of the boat that rights the boat during heavy winds. It remains unseen under the water, but it is a powerful stabilizer during the rough weather. You know, the Lord is like a keel in life. If we turn to Him, especially during turbulent times, He will always guide us to safety. He provides us with stability during rough times in our life if we reach out to Him and ask for help. Run to the Lord in prayer and trust that He will lead you to calmer waters. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
The Truth with John Gordon.
A strong argument can be made that we need a certain number of illegal immigrants to work menial and in some cases dangerous jobs.
Get all the truth you can handle and more.
Immigrants seem willing to do those jobs. American workers do not. What? I'm sorry, I just call them like I see them, folks.
Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 Central, on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
I tell you the truth as best I know it.
Okay!
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We talked in our previous segment about mediocrity and incompetence among certain elected officials. In this segment, we're going to talk about mediocrity and deception, not just among public officials, but actually among the deep state. Here we are, John Solomon, talking about, well, the cover-up of the Clinton Foundation, Hillary Clinton corruption, cover-up by the FBI and the Department of Justice under Barack Obama's administration. Clip 1.
Tonight we're going to show you the other side of this conspiracy, the protection racket.
We've all known for a long time that James Comey exonerated Hillary Clinton without authority to do so and without finishing his investigation when it came to the classified emails. Tonight, we're going to tell you about the other Clinton investigation, one that was running in 3 separate FBI offices, New York, Washington, and Little Rock. It was a predicated criminal investigation that was examining whether Hillary Clinton ran a pay-to-play scheme that delivered favors from her perch as Secretary of State while foreigners and others paid large sums of money to her family foundation, the Clinton Foundation, run by Bill Clinton and their daughter, eventually Chelsea Clinton. 3 separate agencies, 3 separate bureaus, offices of the FBI believe they had predicated evidence to pursue that. Every time they tried to move the ball down the road in the shadows of the 2016 election, they got shut down. I mean, they got shut down at the highest levels of their agency. Andrew McCabe, the deputy director, a man who potentially had a conflict of interest with Hillary Clinton. His wife got money from Hillary Clinton's former campaign chair to run for a Virginia state senate. And by the way, McCabe attended the meeting where that assistance was solicited. He eventually was conflicted out, but not before he gave the order to his agents that you won't investigate or do anything on this unless I approve it. Downstream from them, 4 different U.S. attorneys' offices under Barack Obama were asked for help by the agents. Agents need help. We need a grand jury. We need to get evidence. We want to move the case down the road. All 3 of those 4 offices told the agents, you're on your own. We will not assist you in your pursuit of criminal charges against Hillary Clinton.
All right, so we've got mediocrity and deception among deep state bureaucrats who are aligned with Democrats, now the communists, elected Democrat officials, and a couple rhinos. This has gone on, this mediocrity and deception, utter dishonesty, now is obvious in terms of the behavior of Anthony Fauci, the COVID lockdown guy, who was the NIH official, who was, going to testify before Congress tomorrow. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tore into Fauci the other day. Let's go with this. Clip 10.
That told us all we had to trust the experts, and that he was the expert that they elevated. And anybody who did not give complete blind faith to these expert opinions, which we now know were lies, was marginalized, vilified, demonized, censored.
Canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I pointed out that this almost certainly came from the Wuhan lab, and I lost my Instagram was canceled with 1 million followers for misinformation. I never put any misinformation up. I put up all the things that we now know are true, and it was called misinformation, and the press was part of this collaboration. It was corrupt, and it did tremendous damage to the media in this country and to America's faith in that very important democratic institution. It also did incalculable damage to public health.
It did. And now, tomorrow, Anthony Fauci will be testifying before a Senate committee. Senator Rand Paul, who's been calling out the misinterpretations, the lies, misdirection of Anthony Fauci, will be questioning him. And we have some documents now that have been released, documents that are, well, not at all flattering for Anthony Fauci, who clearly looks like an egomaniac, delighted with all the coverage he had, and also not good for members of the media who were talking to him and encouraging him privately, with Dana Bash at CNN. And apparently there's a report that Jake Tapper, the same guy who you saw earlier in the program interviewing the rhino governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, and whining and complaining about the end of TPS for Haitians who've overrun much of Springfield, Ohio. That guy, he had dinner with Fauci and said, well, Donald Trump's a nut. Yeah, that's that as Clay Travis has said, really ought to be firing offenses for Jake Tapper. And I don't think CNN will do that, but they should. We'll have more tomorrow. Up next, Rob Carson. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Delighted you've been with us today. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Go to our website, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. Thank you for joining us today.